There is something deeply wrong with the noise in your life. Not the moment when a truck drives past. Not when a plane flies overhead. The real problem is the constant layer of sound that never switches off. For most of human history, silence wasn't rare. It wasn't spiritual. It wasn't something people had to practice. Silence was simply life. Men woke up in silence. They worked in silence. They walked for miles with nothing but their footsteps and their thoughts. Their minds grew strong because they were used to being alone with themselves. By the end of this video, you will understand why silence once made people resilient and why its disappearance is quietly breaking modern minds. Today, silence feels uncomfortable. The moment everything goes quiet, your hand reaches for something. Your phone, music, a podcast, anything to avoid sitting with your own thoughts. At the same time, anxiety is rising. Depression is everywhere. Mental fatigue has become so normal that people call it just life. So what changed? It is not that you are weaker than people in the past. It is that modern life slowly removes silence, and with it, your natural mental resilience. Your brain was never designed for constant stimulation. For most of human evolution, sound meant something important. Danger, weather, another human nearby. Silence meant safety. Today, your brain is flooded with meaningless noise for most of the day. Notifications, music, voices, videos, advertising. Even when you are resting, there is usually a screen glowing and some sound playing in the background. This constant background noise keeps your nervous system in a low-level stress state. Not strong enough to feel like panic, but strong enough to stop your brain from fully recovering. That is why you can sleep for 8 hours and still wake up feeling tired. That is why rest no longer feels truly restful. In the past, noise existed, but it came in short bursts. Markets were loud. Blacksmiths were loud. Battles were deafening. But when the work ended, silence returned. The nervous system had time to reset. Today, it never does. Silence was not boredom for medieval people. It was mental space. Imagine a man walking to the fields at dawn. He hears the wind across the grass, the crunch of frost under his boots, the creak of leather, his own breath. That is all. No voices in his ears, no news cycle, no strangers' opinions. The only conversation happening is inside his own head. This kind of silence forces the mind inward. Thoughts are processed instead of pushed away. Emotions surface instead of being buried under noise. When external stimulation stops, the brain finally has room to think, reflect, and recover. People in the past did not schedule mindfulness. Their environment gave it to them naturally. If silence is so powerful, why does it feel uncomfortable today? Because discomfort is the price of awareness. When silence removes distraction, unfinished thoughts return. Regrets, fears, old arguments, questions about where your life is going. Modern culture teaches you to escape these feelings, not to face them. There is always another video, another song, another notification. So silence begins to feel dangerous. But past generations had no escape. Boredom, doubt, and worry had to be carried, not numbed. By living with their thoughts, they slowly became familiar with discomfort. That familiarity made their minds stronger. Modern noise is not just an accident. It is a powerful way to keep people distracted and reactive. A quiet mind asks difficult questions. Do I actually want this life? Why am I spending my time like this? Who am I trying to impress? A constantly stimulated mind does not ask questions. It only reacts. That is why silence has been removed from so many modern environments. Noise fills every gap where independent thought could appear. Silence in the past was not a weakness. It was an accidental form of freedom. Constant noise keeps the brain in survival mode. A brain in survival mode struggles to focus, struggles to regulate emotions, and struggles to form strong memories. Silence does the opposite. Short, regular periods of quiet allow the brain to repair itself and calm the nervous system. At first, silence feels heavy. That is because unresolved tension finally becomes noticeable. If you stay with it instead of running away, silence turns from something threatening into something stabilizing. Mental toughness is not motivation. It is familiarity with discomfort. Men in the past could not escape silence, so they adapted to it. Fear still existed. Doubt still existed. But their minds learned how to hear those feelings without instantly panicking. Life today is easier than it has ever been, yet people feel more fragile. Not because life is harder, but because the modern mind is rarely allowed to adapt to discomfort. Silence used to be the training ground. You do not need to live like a medieval farmer, but you do need silence back in your life. Start small. Take one short walk every day with no phone and no audio. Eat one meal in complete silence. Keep your phone out of reach for the first hour of the day. Turn off background sound during focused work. At first, silence will feel awkward, then boring, then calming. Eventually, it will feel powerful. Modern life profits from noise because a silent mind thinks for itself. It questions habits. It questions consumption. It questions the way life is set up. Silence was never lost. It was buried under constant stimulation. Turn the volume down. Let your mind be uncomfortable for a while, and slowly it will become strong again. Before you go, think about this. When was the last time you experienced real silence? No phone, no music, no background noise? How did it feel? Leave a comment and share that moment. And if this video made you pause and reflect, you already know what to do. Turn the volume down tonight. Let the silence stay a little longer.